all the way to Masters with no cheesing. So I was quite proud of
And I'm
that.
still at platinum.
Just got to keep practicing.
Then again, I don't cheese. I'm not a very cheesy player.
No, I wanted to know that I could get to Masters without cheesing. It wouldn't really be. It wouldn't be real, you know.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
Alright guys, well, game number 2 between Infinity Gaming's NA division. Infinity Gaming is up 1-0, as we had a TVZ in the last game, and that parade push, man, from the Terran was able to take down the Zerg, and this next matchup will be a TVP on an old favorite, Whirlwind. Alright, down here in the bottom right side of the map, the old favorite Whirlwind player for Infinity Gaming's NA division. We have the pink Protoss, Gooderson. And up here in the top right side, the red Terran player for OD. Let's see if he can tie this clan war up.
Game paused.
We have Doggy. Oh man, we didn't have to remake. Let me ask if we had any referees last game.
Why did we remake?
Oh, the game speed was slow.
Oh.
God damn it. Because if we have a referee, you can hit the little addition button. Yeah, that's something only referees can do. Spectators are not allowed. But yeah, we remade because the game speed seemed really slow.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, but referees can press the little addition button on their keyboard twice, and it will speed the game up to faster, which is the standard speed. So, tidbit there for you guys: if the game speed seems a little bit slow during a clan war, any referees, you can hit that addition button twice, and it will speed up the game to that faster setting. So, it's always good to know.
God damn, I'm hungry. Having pulled pork sandwiches tonight.
I had a steak. Steak and potatoes, man.
Restaurant or at home?
No, at home. It was good, man. Who doesn't like steak?
I actually don't like steak.
Oh, killing me.
Yeah, I like meat. Steak is kind of too plain for me.
Well, fair enough. You can always season it up with some stuff, I suppose. Alright guys, we are back in game number 2, and actually different spawning positions this time, which may play a little bit differently. But up here in the top left side of the map, Whirlwind, we have the red Terran player for Overdosed, AHvmpingDogi, who will be referred to as Doggy throughout the duration of this cast, because it's easier. And up here in the top right side of the map, Whirlwind, the Infinity Gaming NA Division player, the pink Protoss, we have Gooderson. Alright, well, last time we did have those vertical spawns. This time, however, we have the horizontal spawns. And I think this may play in Doggy's favor, as Doggy is one of those players that really likes that Sky Terran style. That's something he favors a lot. And generally, I've seen him open 2-port Banshee pretty much every game. And if you look at the airspace here between both players, it's really not that long. It's actually fairly short, so 2-port Banshee has the potential to do quite a bit of damage on this map. Which is definitely good for Doggy. And yeah, and there goes that gas first from Doggy. So that definitely initially tells me he definitely wants to be aggressive. with early factories for Widow Mines or, again, Banshees. To answer Daniel's question, I guess, if we played it on normal, because I think that's what Blizzard intended us to play on, I think it would have played a little bit more like Brood War. Like, the fights wouldn't be as quick as they are. So, the fights would be a little bit elongated, which I think is what some people like. Is what some people kind of want. Is if Blizzard would decrease the game speed, these fights would be a little bit elongated, giving more players time to micro in fights, and give them a little bit more time. So that's something that's been debated about a few times. But Doggy is going to scout a Gooderson in the last position he checks. Gooderson also going to scout the last position that he checks. So there will be a wall up here for Doggy by the time Gooderson gets here. And Blink Stalkers, I don't think they're the best on this map either, as there's really nowhere too huge for them to blink in. Maybe from this third to this main base, but even so, this behind the mineral patches looks very small. So I think you'd have to do like 5, 6, 7, 8 stalkers at a time, which isn't efficient because you want all the stalkers blinking in all at the same time. But Gooderson, man, immediately throwing on a pylon there at that third base location, so maybe a proxy Stargate is definitely a possibility. And the first Marine for Doggy is out, going to go to work on those rocks, not noticing the probe. Now he's going to notice the probe, and he's going to go ahead and push that probe back. The factory at the back of Doggy's base coming down. Ooh, nice. Nice there from Doggy. Moved the Marine out, raised the supply depot as the probe went to go in. Marine killed the probe, and that probe had a very sad day. And a Zealot was made for Gooderson here. This definitely tells me he wants to be somewhat aggressive, because generally if you're going to make a Zealot, you'll cancel it when it's about 70% complete, and then you'll go get your Nexus, generally. But I think he's going to move across the map with the Zealot and the Stalker once it pops out, and the Mothership Core as well. So this is definitely that Zealot, Stalker, Mothership Core aggression that has potential to do a lot of damage, but there is a Widow Mine on the way for Doggy, so... Actually, the Widow Mine's now out for Doggy, so I don't know if this aggression is going to be too much. The Zealot can actually... I think he can soak that. No, I think... I'm not sure. Not sure the exact math. I think the Widow Mine actually kills that Zealot, though.
You're correct, it does.
125... Yeah, okay, cool. So it does kill it outright. So the Zealot can actually tank that Widow Mine, but then it will leave the Stalker and the Mothership Core vulnerable as well. But he's actually not moving across the map with those two units. Maybe waiting for the second Stalker, perhaps, but I'm not entirely sure. This signals aggression most of the time when we see these three units, but maybe Gooderson knows something I don't. It's definitely a possibility. He is a league higher than me, so I wouldn't put it past him. Got the robotics facility coming down for Gooderson, so nothing too out of the ordinary. Maybe an immortal bust, because this pylon here is very strange. Like, I understand it could be here to spot drops, also to proxy structures, also to serve as a warp in point. And there's the classic Doggy Cloaked Banshee opening. We'll most likely be seeing a lot more Banshees in this game, as again, Doggy really favors that Sky Terran style. Only a second gateway being thrown down. Forge being thrown down as well to really start those upgrades. Robotics going to finish. Now, this is pretty good for Gooderson, because again, he's going to have the possibility to make observers. And I think he may be preparing for a Widow Mine drop, but it's going to be Cloaked Banshees instead, which Stalkers and Observers still take care of Cloaked Banshees relatively easily. Now, this SCV on Doggy is just chilling out on this side of the map over here, near that fourth base location for the Protoss, so there's definitely a potential for him to go back in and scout. He only has 8 hit points, though, so I don't think he'll be able to get too much done if he goes in there and scouts. Gooderson's still sticking on only 2 gateways, not adding a third one. And there's that second starport for Doggy finishing up. We'll go ahead and transition that starport over to that tech lab, so it's going to be a 2-port Banshee opening, as I have predicted. 3 Stalkers and an Observer here should be enough to push this 1 Banshee away. This Banshee's going to fly in, start getting shot at, and Cloak going to go off, but there's already an Observer there as well, and actually will lose the Banshee. That is not good for Doggy at all. Doggy really wanted to keep that Banshee alive. That's quite an investment. That is, it's 250 gas and 200 minerals already down the drain in 1 Banshee and Cloak as well. So, that's very unfortunate. Probe going to be pushed away of the zone locket tower by this Marine, which currently is in firm control by Doggy. And a couple of SCVs actually misrallied here over here by this missile turret, so Doggy needs to go ahead and fix that and get those two guys back to work. Banshee moving out to the middle of the map now may be able to kill off this Stalker. He's definitely chasing it around the robotics bay on the way for Gooderson, which Colossi, not the best answer to Sky Terran as it turns out, as Colossi can't actually shoot up. So things could get really interesting if Gooderson actually does decide to continue on that Colossi production. Things will get very scary for him very quickly, and actually quite a few SCVs moving out on from Doggy's side of the map. He's got 3 Banshees on the map right now, and he's moving about 5 SCVs over. I don't know if this is for repairs as the Banshees go in, and then he can fly them away and repair. And you got a decently sized Marine Force will find this pylon now as well. So I think it's just going to be a little repair outpost. Twilight Council will be spotted. Pylon going to go ahead and be worked on now, but Doggy's going to have to micro, man. These Stalkers doing a lot of damage. And Doggy's actually focusing the pylon, which I think he wanted to be able to focus the Stalkers, but I think he just A-moved those guys in there and they targeted the pylon instead. So again, that's kind of unfortunate. A little bit more damage could have been done. Maybe looking to depower that Twilight Council. Blink on the way now. Cloak being deactivated by Doggy, and yeah, these 5 SCVs are literally here for repairs. These Banshee's going to go on again at full health, and I think Gooderson has to know something's up. These guys are back at full health already. That's pretty crazy. Stalkers shooting away at these Banshees, but this amount of Banshees kill Stalkers pretty quickly, if not micro. 1 Stalker going to go down, 4 Storm main, 1 is still in the back, not shooting at all, however. And this other Banshee is going to die, so leaves with 2. Unfortunately, 1 Stalker for 1 Banshee, not the most efficient trade, as Banshees are 150 minerals, 100 gas, and Stalkers are 125 minerals, 50 gas. So 1 Stalker for 1 Banshee definitely works in the favor of Gooderson. Now again, the problem for Gooderson is he has a Colossus out. Colossus not the best versus Banshees, and not the best versus Sky Terran in general. Now we have a 3rd base coming down for Gooderson that I believe Doggy sees. Yes, Doggy has seen this 3rd command center, so he knows everything. He knows what's up. Banshee's going to town on these Stalkers again, trying to make something happen. No cloak being popped. Where's that Observer? The Observer doesn't know if there's really anywhere to be found. More Stalkers being forced to be warped in here in the main base as Doggy tries to go to town. Cloak is going to be activated, and here's the Observer. Okay, I found it. Alright, well, we got the Terran building armor on the way for Doggy, which he's a very big proponent of, as you will hear him talk about quite a few times. I co-casted with him last night, and that's something he kept saying, that he's a really big proponent of that Terran building armor, especially versus Zerg. And I guess at Protoss as well, because you're able to keep those missile turrets alive, those command centers alive, the barracks alive, your starports alive. Everything gets +2 armor, which is pretty good because it means Terran buildings now have 3 armor, as they naturally do have that 1 armor as well. So the buildings of Doggy going to be pretty resilient here, and there's quite a few Banshees, about 8 of those guys out on the map now, moving towards the 3rd base here of Gooderson. So I think this base will die. There's no Observer here. There is a cannon though. Maybe that are those Banshees in detection range? Yes, they are, unfortunately. So the Stalkers, actually there's an Observer there now as well, losing 1 Banshee. And more and more Banshees going down. I don't like the fact that Doggy's staying there. I think he should have cloaked, tried to get out as best as he could, and then just kind of regrouped with the rest of his Banshees and gone in again. But the main base is actually left completely exposed now, so those Banshees double back to the main base. There's definitely a big potential here, as all those Stalkers were forced from the main base down to the 3rd to try to defend that, and yeah, Doggy understands that. He's coming down back into the main. We'll get a pylon or 2. Yeah, he's going to focus down yet another pylon. Yeah, those Banshees are doing that double back maneuver, coming way back into the main base. The Blink Stalker's already responding, though, to these 2 Banshees. One did get shot at, but looks like it will get out as the Observer's a little bit lagging behind there. And the Banshees will escape with their lives intact. So that's really good for Doggy. He's able to keep all these Banshees alive. 4 Banshees in production at any given time. Ghost Academy on the way to really start letting those shields of the Protoss not do as much as he would like. The EMPs come down on whatever's there, the shields are gone, and then the Banshees reign supreme. One thing we haven't seen quite yet is Vikings or battlecruisers, but I think Ravens would be in order later on in the game as well. Personal cloaking for those ghosts. So these Observers are going to be vitally important versus this kind of style with the Cloak Banshees and the Cloak Ghosts. He's going to have to make sure he builds plenty of Observers. And these Banshees, man, they're in such high number, they're actually almost one-shotting Stalkers at this point, which is actually a massive deal. Losing one Banshee there is Doggy, but losing a ton of Stalkers is Gooderson. Looks like he loses a second one on the way out. Unfortunate. But again, Doggy's making 4 of them at a time, so he's not too worried about the Banshees. He is quite low on gas. His third base is established, but only has 1 in each of those refineries. So definitely needs to go ahead and get those 2 geysers saturated on his third base, and he'll be looking a little bit better in that gas department. He's got 1 Banshee queued up in each of these starports, so if he had a little bit more gas, perhaps he could queue them up and not have to worry about continuously queuing them. But these Ghosts also going to cut into that gas, because those Ghosts are 100 gas apiece. These Protoss units going to move down to engage the Banshees, and I think the Banshees may be enough here to actually win out this fight versus these Stalkers, as that's really what the Banshees actually want to kill the AI anyway, because they are attacking them. The Colossus going to fall now, the Immortal's going to fall as well, and the rest of these Stalkers are forced to retreat. So this kind of Banshee count is really, really strong, as you can see. Was able to take on the Stalkers and win pretty convincingly. And the Pylons in the main base now going to go ahead and be attacked once again. Pylon there at the 4th base of Doggy, but Doggy going to take the other 4th base instead, so not fearing anything like that. Only 2 orbitals though, so very few scans here for Doggy, and yeah, these Banshees do so much damage every single volley. I'd like to see Doggy really add on those 2 armories and really start to get those upgrades going. I think he's got enough Banshees that he can go ahead and just keep Gooderson at bay for now. Storm on the way for Gooderson now as well, and those Banshees do clump up quite a bit, so that's definitely a good tech choice there. And 4 command centers on the way for Doggy. Doggy doesn't even care, man. He's like, alright, fine, whatever. I've got plenty of excess minerals. Time to make command centers all over the map. The Banshees over here just chilling out. Will go into the 3rd base now. At least look to get something done at the 3rd base. Scans going down. The main base, the Natural, sees all the Templar, all the Archons, and all these Stalkers. These Banshees, are they going to be able to get something done? There are 3 cannons here, so I don't think there's any kind of opening for Doggy to get any damage done. And still no upgrades on these Banshees, unfortunately for him. And looks like the rest of this mass Banshee fleet going into the main base once again. And this Archon is going to be able to do quite a bit. The Stalkers and Archons do have 1-1, so Doggy is behind again in the upgrade department, which is definitely something I think he could use. And Archon is going to fall. 2 volleys by the looks of things for those Banshees to kill off a single Archon. So Archon's a really good choice, but Gooderson, man, 118 supply block. Unfortunately for him, 167 supply here for Doggy. He is on the maximum supply capacity, so no more supply depots need to be built, so that's the last time he has to worry about building supply depots, is building a ton of command centers. More barracks coming down on 3 Ghosts on the way at a time. That's about 300 gas being spent at any given moment. The Colossus now starting to be remade there, and I'm not entirely sure why, but they're going to get completely obliterated by these Banshees. Those Colossi, unfortunately, stand no chance. These Archons going to come back in here, and Archons do splash damage, so these Banshees that are clumping up as much as they are, they really need to be careful versus those Archons. Now again, these Stalkers are doing basically nothing to these Banshees, unfortunately for them, as I know they would like to, but Storm going to go down there, doing quite a bit of damage. 13 Banshees on the map for Doggy. Again, still making 4 of those guys at a time. I think a couple of Ravens would be a decent investment as well for the PDD to try to shut down the Stalkers as much as possible. Archons still here, actually going to go ahead and split those guys up now as Doggy. Really good, but he's losing quite a few Banshees. But I think he will be able to clean up the army of the Protoss for now. There's a couple more Stalkers making their way down there, as well as a Templar that gets sniped immediately. So I think these Stalkers may be able to do enough. The Ghosts coming in now, the EMP coming down, removing all of the Stalker shields, and now the Stalkers are definitely going to have to run away, no doubt about that. Another Colossi out on the map, which will get obliterated once again by these Banshees, as unfortunately Colossi cannot fight back versus those Banshees. Doggy going to secure his own 5th base now, so it's a 3-base Protoss to a 5-base Terran, which as a Protoss player is not a very nice thought for you at all. 3 more starports going down, also those double armories coming down now, 4th starport being added now, so going up to a total of 8 starports, as well as that double armory, which again is what I was saying earlier that I would like to see. Now the Twilight Council and a single forge was taken out by Doggy, so the 2-2 cannot actually be started for Gooderson. That's really going to start to cut into his upgrade advantage once Doggy starts his own 1-1, and then further progresses into his 2-2. Look at the Worker Council, you got 57 probes and 84 SCVs, so Doggy definitely ahead in that regard. These Marines are going to go ahead and come in here and sacrifice themselves, which is fine, as Doggy knows he doesn't need them anymore. And Stalkers Stalker, Archon, Colossi seems to be the composition here for Gooderson. And those Colossi are really going to try to zone out the Ghosts as much as possible. But if the Ghosts are able to get in there, EMP the entire army, get rid of most of the Archon shields, get rid of most of the Stalker shields, that's pretty much going to be all she wrote. And we've got this pylon now being found, will be taken out. These Banshees do so much damage. It's kind of surprising how much damage they do. 6 SCVs being transferred down here to start that little repair outpost here once again. And looks like Gooderson knows what's up. He's going to go right down there. Oh, no, he's going to go ahead and back up into his natural. And back up into the main, these Banshees go. May be able to get the Robo this time. May get a free Colossi as well. Looks like they will get that free Colossi. No, we'll go ahead and redirect their fire onto the gateway instead. Will be forced to back out. Photon Overcharge forced, and more Stalkers. The Stalkers come in and they are forced out. So 8 Banshees on the way now at a time for Doggy. Man really loves his Banshees apparently versus Protoss. And you can see why. They do so much damage. This is like the campaign mission when they first introduced Banshees. You're just like, man, I want Banshees. Because they're the newest unit they gave to me. And that's Doggy, man. He took that mission and embraced it fully. As, that's what he's doing. And Gooderson saying, why are you doing this to me? Doggy's saying, I know. It's really, really hard and terrible, but you know what? This is what I prefer, so that's what I'm going to do. Because, again, this is what he does pretty much every single game that I've cast of him. A 4th base being secured by Gooderson, but a 6th base being secured by Doggy. So Doggy in a great spot right now. These Banshees are going to come flying back in here. Target, no, they are not going to target a Colossus. Time Warp completely useless versus Banshees. EMP's coming down on all the shields of these Stalkers, and I think these Banshees may have enough firepower here to take on these Stalkers. And they are going to kill the rest of them. And here comes the rest of the reinforcements here for Doggy. There's nothing else that shoots up. GG, well played, calls Gooderson. And Doggy, man, with his mass Banshee play, able to take Gooderson down. And you can see just how much damage Banshees do. In a single volley, all those Banshees were able to just slaughter anything that came their way. So, that was really, really well played there by Doggy. And yeah, you know, the Protoss just didn't have an answer. It's that simple. He tried his best. He had Storm. He had the Archon.